So now with the number 4 brush, I'm going to get some more dark paint, burnt sienna and ultramarine, and do a little bit of shaping on these rocks. Just to give the bit of texture really, just to give them a bit of form. And then with clean water on the same number 4 brush, I'm just doing a bit of blending. And then I think I can use this colour as well for some rich dark shadow actually under the bridge there. And then I'm going to soften that slightly again with a damp, clean brush. That gives us a nice rich dark under the bridge. I'm now going to pick up the number 8 brush and mix some colour for the water. I'm starting with the same colour I had in the sky, cobalt blue, with a bit of rose madder. The other colour in the sky was the translucent grey, a nice wash of that. They work together well when you let them mix on the paper. And I'm going to take a brush called a rake. It's basically a flat brush, but the end is split in order to enable you to create white spaces as you paint. So I'm loading that up with the cobalt blue and rose madder. And there's a little waterfall here where the water just tumbles over some rocks before running along. And it's quite fast moving, so I'm going to use the brush quickly so that I don't cover up too much detail and I leave little glimpses of white. I'm letting a little bit of translucent grey mix into that as well, keeping it quite loose. And then we get to the bigger waterfall beyond the bridge just here, and again I'm using this rake brush to good effect to just catch the surface and leave me quite a bit of white paper. I'm going back to the cobalt blue, and it's tumbling between these stones. It's important when you do this to paint the water in first and come back to the stones after. Important also not to overdo it and lose all your white paper. This is all about leaving some white to suggest the foam. You can also lose it sideways on as well when you get to the rushing water beyond the waterfall. And again, while I've got it mixed, a little bit of the translucent grey as well. Now there is a little hint of green in this water as well, because there's an element of reflection. So I've got a bit of the Aureolin and cobalt blue, and I'm just adding a few little hints of that amongst the water. And then straight away it's time to paint the rocks and stones in. So I've got a number 4 brush, and I want a really strong mixture of burnt sienna and ultramarine, fairly thick. And you need to go quite quickly into the rocks and stones so that they'll soften into the water a bit. You can leave a little bit of white round the bottom of them to suggest the foam. And then in 1 or 2 places, if the paint hasn't quite dried that you put on the water, that helps because they just soften into it a bit. Just working these loose shapes to suggest the dark areas of stone. Plenty of the dark paint. The stones are that bit bigger in the foreground here in the left hand side. And then there are smaller ones as well that aren't quite as obvious, but you just pick them out now and again. And a good aid to perspective here is to make these stones get smaller as they get further away to the other side of the bank. 1 or 2 just in this area here, just to suggest it's got some stones to tumble down. And we'll leave that to dry before we finish off with these stones on the left-hand side. So with a number 8 brush, I'm just going to mix some colour for these stones on the left-hand side. Again, it's a mixture of raw sienna and rose madder. And I'm just going to try to leave a hint of light at the top of it by leaving a patch of white paper. And I'm going to take a bit of shadow colour, a bit of translucent grey and cobalt blue, put that over towards the shadow side of it. And then I'm going to get a little bit of neat lemon yellow, and just to give the impression of the grass and reeds and things creeping up round the base of the stone, I'm just going to add that in round the bottom there. I'm going to get a smaller brush, I've got a number 2, and just pick up some more neat lemon yellow and use the opaque quality of it to pick a bit of light out against the dark, shadowy side of the stone. And still with the number 2, I'm just finally going to make the dark side of the stone even darker with a rich, strong mixture of ultramarine and burnt sienna. Drop that in. Same in there as well. And that's completed. If you look at the original photograph, you can see just how much I've simplified this scene. That's partly due to the fact that I've only got so much time to show you how to paint it. But you can make the decision to include a bit more detail, maybe some more trees in the background or some more rocks in the left-hand foreground. Also, look at how the colours from the sky are echoed in the water, and look how important the white paper is, so don't overdo the brushwork.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. Today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.